Did it ever occur to you that our country's Catholic roots were providential? That there is more to this country than simply the rah-rahing of the bands and the waving of the flag. That martyrs died in this country for the faith. And that we have produced quite a crop of servants of God into the 20th century who are being, in various processes of beatification. 4 blacks, incidentally. No, sorry, 5. The lady in Kansas City. Several Indians. Not nearly enough French Canadians, but there's bias. There is a heritage there. And not just the early colonists. You go around New England, you go around the Midwest, even parts of the South. You see the churches our fathers built. Many of them immigrants without 2 dimes to rub together. That's America. It's also the colonial past, the non-Catholic colonial past, but it's part of the whole. There's the reality of the country. This country has produced some things that are not great art by any standards, but pretty good. The Broadway musical, The Cocktail. We made it. Nobody else did that. We did. You go down here to Sudbury to see the birthplace of the cocktail at the Wayside Inn. It's a good place to go. The intermixture of peoples and races here. It's a wonderful, wonderful beginning. But so far, that's all it is. We're not a country in the sense that the French and the Spanish and the Portuguese and the Italians and the Russians and the English and the Irish and all those guys are, or even that the Chinese and the Japanese are. Why? We've only been around for a couple of 100 years, and we do not have, other than that dying ideology, we do not have an animating principle. But it doesn't have to stay that way. And now I get to move into the third part of my talk. And that is, well, if, as you're implying, and now I'll say it, the Catholic faith can save this country, the reign of the Sacred and Immaculate Hearts can save this country, but nothing else, certainly nothing politically. But then I have to present you with the terrible paradox, which is one does not evangelize one's country to save it. One evangelizes one's country because that's Christ's mandate. And to the degree we are successful, to that degree we will save her. That's not quite the same thing. A lot of people look at the Catholic faith, they look at the architecture, they look at the music, they look at various of the political accomplishments, the scientific accomplishments, all that, and they mistake those things for the why and the wherefore of Catholicism. Those things, wonderful as they are, no one loves them more than I do, are byproducts. The reality is first the individual and then the corporate salvation of mankind. All these other things flow from it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his justice, and all these things will be added unto you. So they were added into old Christendom. So they were added during the colonial days in Latin America, which a whole other story, but if you stop and think about it, for 250 years, Spain and Portugal ruled South America, Central America with a minimum of military force, no centralized police, no centralized taxes. I mean, sheer anarchy according to modern Americans, and yet they managed to do it. It's a miracle of governance that is just amazing. But all byproducts. So where does that leave us in the here and now? Well, the kingdom of Christ does not come from above, humanly speaking. It cannot be legislated in this country. It cannot be mandated. We're not going to vote for President Oblivion, who will say, well, now we're going to be a Catholic nation. No, it can't work that way. It's not how it can work. It can't be mandated, as I say, from the top here. Rather, the kingdom of Christ first has to reign in our hearts as individuals.